It's finally true. Clint Eastwood is telling the truth about James Garner. Eastwood was born in San Francisco, California, on May 31st, 1930. His full name is Clint Eastwood Jr. Growing up during the Great Depression in a simple home taught him to be strong, rely on himself, and have a strong work ethic that would shape his future. Eastwood used to be interested in sports and art, but his life took a different turn when he was offered small parts in movies after serving in the U.S. Army during the Korean War. This was the start of a long and eventful career in the movie business. Eastwood's rise to fame was slow, but clear. He first became famous all over the world when he played the man with no name in Sergio Leone's famous spaghetti western series. $4 in Your Hand, 1964. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, 1966. And For a Few Dollars More, 1965. Not only did these movies show off his quiet charm and understated playing style, but they also changed the Western genre by combining a gritty, realistic, and mythical sense of the American frontier. Eastwood gave a show that was marked by a simple style. Few words, a sharp gaze, and a cool, almost hypnotic presence drew both audiences and journalists in. This part made him a popular figure in popular culture and set him up for future success in Hollywood and European movies. After a few Western parts, Eastwood changed things up by playing the tough, no-nonsense detective Harry Callahan in the Dirty Harry movie series, which began in 1971. This figure, who said, "Do you feel lucky, punk?" made Eastwood famous as the perfect example of a tough guy with a complicated moral code. Eastwood's movie Dirty Harry was a hit during a time of social unrest and culture change in America because it explored themes of justice, individualism, and the conflict between personal morals and social rules. These parts showed how he could combine charm with moral ambiguity to make characters who were both believable and fantastical. They also cemented his position as one of the most bankable stars in Hollywood history. But Eastwood was good at a lot more than just acting. He learned how to tell stories in many different ways through films, and became a skilled director, producer, and composer. His first full-length movie, Play Misty for Me, came out in 1971. It was a psychological thriller with great pacing, drama, and character development. Eastwood has made a lot of different kinds of movies over the years, from the scary war epic Flags of Our Fathers, 2006, to the touching character studies Million Dollar Baby, 2004, and Gran Torino, 2008. His directing style is often simple, quick, and focused on naturalistic acting. This has earned him praise from critics and several Academy Awards, including Best Director and Best Picture. Eastwood's movies have always been about universal things like redemption, death, bravery, and the human condition. This has made him famous as both an artistic visionary and a storyteller whose work speaks deeply to people all over the world. Eastwood is also known for his work as a composer and singer. He often writes original music for his movies, which shows that he is very versatile as an artist. His minimalist approach to music is similar to the elegance and simplicity of his film style, which puts mood and feeling over spectacle. Eastwood was the mayor of Carmel by the Sea, California, in the late 1980s, which shows that he cares about public service and community leadership. Even though it was short, his time in politics showed how practical and results-oriented he was, which earned him respect in both Hollywood and his hometown. Clint Eastwood directed and acted in the drama The Mule in 2018. It was an amazing return to the big screen for the famous actor-director after 6 years of not being in his own movies. The story was based on the true story of Leo Earl Sharp Sr., a veteran of World War II, who, in a very strange turn of events, later worked as a drug courier for the notorious Sinaloa drug gang. The movie was about getting older, sorrow, and the choices that make up a person's life. It showed Eastwood's long-standing interest in realistic characters with complicated morals. The Mule was especially important because it was Eastwood's first starring job since 2012's Trouble with the Curve. This movie brought back memories of his powerful screen presence and showed how good he is at directing complex performances. It was also his first lead part in a movie he directed since Gran Torino, which was a critical and commercial hit in 2008. This added to his reputation for telling personal stories with flawed, deeply human characters that connect with audiences of all ages. People liked how Eastwood played a man who was struggling with his past in a quiet but powerful way. They also liked how he kept the story grounded and emotionally compelling by combining suspense with a quiet reflection on family, death, and forgiveness. With the production and direction of the biographical thriller Richard Jewell in 2019, Eastwood kept up his busy schedule behind the camera after The Mule. The scary real story of a security guard who was wrongly accused of bombing the 1996 Summer Olympics in Atlanta was told in the movie, which also looked at themes of media sensationalism, public perception, and justice. Many people liked Eastwood's direction because it paid close attention to detail, kept the story moving quickly, and showed empathy for the main character, which made sure that the emotional and moral stakes were fully understood. The movie also got good reviews for the actor's work, especially Kathy Bates, who was nominated for both the Academy Award and the Golden Globe Award for her role as an experienced lawyer. Eastwood's work on Richard Jewell showed that he could look at current social issues through the lens of individual human stories, combining the preciseness of a journalist with his signature cinematic economy. It also proved that he was a filmmaker who could make movies that were both fun and made a point. Eastwood produced and directed the neo-Western play Cry Macho in 2021. It was based on a book by N. Richard Nash that came out in 1975. The movie was about a former rodeo star who had to take a young boy back to his family. It had parts of the classic Western and a more modern look at masculinity, mentoring, and personal redemption. Critics had mixed feelings about Cry Macho. Some liked Eastwood's quiet performance and the film's thoughtful mood, while others thought it moved too slowly or told too much of a familiar story. Regardless, it gave the famous actor-director another chance to explore themes he has long pushed: aging, resilience, and moral responsibility. The movie didn't do well at the box office, which could be because audiences' tastes are changing or because it's hard to get a traditional story out there in a time when franchise and streaming movies are popular. Still, Cry Macho stood out as one of Eastwood's few late-career acting roles, and it showed that he was still dedicated to telling stories about human dignity and personal growth. This showed that even in his 90s, he is still an active, influential, and creative force in Hollywood. Clint Eastwood married Maggie Johnson for the first time on December 19, 1953. Their marriage would last for many years and shape much of his early family life. The couple built a home together while Eastwood's acting career was still in its early stages in Hollywood. They had to balance the demands of a growing acting career with family duties. During their marriage, they had 2 children. Kyle Eastwood was born in 1968 and went on to have a great career as a jazz musician. Allison Eastwood was born in 1972 and went on to be a successful actress, director, and producer in her own right. Even though things seemed stable at first glance, Eastwood and Johnson broke up in 1984 after being together for more than 30 years. An estimated $25–30 million was given to Johnson as part of the settlement in the divorce, which shows both Eastwood's huge wealth and the complicated talks that usually happen when Hollywood couples end their long-term marriages. A model and actor named Roxanne Tunis was in a long-term relationship with Clint Eastwood from 1959 to 1973. During this time, he had a daughter named Kimber Eastwood, who was born in 1964. This connection, which happened at the same time that Eastwood was becoming famous for westerns and the TV show Rawhide, shows how complicated his personal life was during the years when his public image was changing quickly. Even though his relationship with Tunis stopped before he got married to Maggie Johnson, it was still an important part of his private life because it showed how often he dated people outside of marriage. Eastwood moved in with actress Sandra Locke in 1975. Their relationship became very public because of their personal and business problems. They were together romantically for 14 years and also worked together on many movies such as Bronco Billy, 1980, and Outlaw Josie Wales, 1976. They mixed their personal and professional lives in ways that kept them in the news. The union ended in April 1989 after years of tense situations and rumors in the public eye. Eastwood allegedly had several other relationships while he was with Locke and had at least 3 children with women other than Locke. This made his personal life and public story even more complicated. One of Eastwood's less well-known relationships was with flight attendant Jocelyn Reeves. They had 2 children together, Scott Eastwood, born in 1986, who became a famous actress in Hollywood, and Catherine Eastwood, born in 1988. These kids were born when Eastwood was at the height of his fame, but they weren't seen by many people at first. This showed that he liked keeping some parts of his family life private. After he broke up with Locke in 1989, Eastwood started dating actress Frances Fisher. They had a daughter together, Francesca Eastwood, who was born in 1993. Even though this relationship isn't as well known as his relationship with Locke, it's still a good example of Eastwood's pattern of dating women in the entertainment business, often while working together or sharing creative interests. Eastwood married Dina Ruiz on March 31, 1996, as part of his later personal life. In the same year, they had a girl named Morgan Eastwood. This was Eastwood's 3rd child and continued to grow his family into the 1990s. But soon there were problems in the marriage, and in August 2013, Ruiz told the public that they were living apart. They got a divorce in 2014, ending a marriage that had lasted almost 20 years. Clint Eastwood is known to have had 8 children with 6 different women over the course of his life. That show how many and how complicated his personal ties are. Despite a lot of media speculation and public interest in his family, Eastwood has mostly avoided confirming the exact number of his children. He has kept a level of discretion that has marked much of his private life, even though his professional life has been highly publicized and praised. Clint Eastwood finally let his guard down at age 95 and shared his honest feelings about his longtime friend and fellow actor James Garner. This gave everyone a clear picture of how much they respected, admired, and competed with each other. Eastwood, who is now in his mid-90s, spoke with the clarity and understanding that can only come from living for decades and having a long and successful career in Hollywood.